everybody for being here. Missing. Here you go, ma'am. Did you hear that? That valet called me, ma'am. It wasn't the first time. We lived on Melrose then. I, a pioneer supermom, twitching in an ill-fitting marriage, crazed enough without a delivery boy delivering ma'am. The word, not a synonym for soigner, struck my ear like a spark and singed my very sanctum. Did he mean me? Never mind, next time whoever will say, here you are, miss, just like always. Who was I kidding? Next time it was thank you, ma'am, and next time, and next time. And then it was time to know no one ever again will see that ma'am is not who I am. The knee that speaks to me, an aberration. The silver strands, a fashion statement. The fact that I need a nap, so did JFK. So listen up, you grocery clerk. Beneath this ma'am you think you see I am 17 and John Donahue just called. Ma'am, don't make me that. I am forever a miss. Well, that too. Missing redux. Things, it seems, are not bad enough. This morning, on the crowded 151, a little red hooded ingenue looked up at me and said, would you like to sit down? Would you like to sit down? When exactly did I achieve the look of a woman who is asked that? True, I am on the sunset side of sexagenarianism, and yes, the ophthalmologist is keeping an eye on that ever so embryonic cataract. And what is that chronic twinge in my foot anyway? But would you like to sit down? Please do not ask me that again. Not till I've bought and paid for and am actually wearing the flesh-colored elastic stockings. Whatever happened to one? Once upon a time, people had one job from their 20s to their 60s, over and out. Women kept one man, men one woman, for better or worse, till death. One simple raincoat, one wristwatch, one lone dog seemed enough. Family took about one vacation and stopped one ice cream at a time. One TV was more than plenty, and even Jones had only one phone. Prosperity banged in with bags and baggage, and one was suddenly none. Houses and spouses, lipsticks and lunch dates, cars, charging, chaos. Business boomed at the building of Babel. From one spattered cookbook to whole new cuisines, and now nobody cooks. Yesterday's Chevy spawned X's and Z's, and all of them drive us crazy. The 90s careened toward a cluttery end, and like the first peep of spring's early shoot, a singular notion occurs. What I don't understand, when they passed out brains, my kit was missing a few. The algebra one, for one, there was nothing in there about X's and Y's, which is why I failed twice and finally passed with a D, only because Dr. Z couldn't otherwise get rid of me. But that's scarcely all I don't get. Why does anyone still smoke? Why do certain drivers think we want to hear the roar of their rap? Why does anyone prefer Howard Stern to Isaac Stern? How does your Big Mac and fries add up to $500 million in advertising? How does your lone lottery dollar balloon to $290 million? Why isn't Mr. Marvelous found more ravishing Daphne? Oh, the list goes on. Why don't I have an unlimited resistance to fatigue? Why, when a man throws a woman against a wall, does the woman continue to live with him? but mostly tell me I'm listening. Why are men so wired for war? They can send children to kill and maim, and to be killed and maimed. Look, Mom, no arms. And still close their eyes at night and sleep. Celadon. There once was a flapper sort of frock in silvery green silk. Celadon, before I knew Celadon. I bought it to wear dancing with Marty at Goldie's in the East 50s. Marty and Arthur Murray Master, I praying to follow. Delusion being second nature, I imagined that dress and that numinous New York night, we drank and smoked and spoke of God knew what. I imagined that dress meant dancing ever after, and that his gray Oldsmobile convertible meant driving forever into the Hamptons, reading novels on the beach, and dining al fresco. I was very young, and swung a shiny brunette bob, and slept dreamily through the night, for that was some time before my fitting for a second shadow named fear. Celadon, New York, circa 1960. Kimberly knits, a line of understated fashions. I probably found mine at Bloomingdale's. Slim skirt, sleeveless top, short jacket in soft gray green, early Celadon. There is a smiling photograph of me wearing that, working on Maidenform or Chanel or Clairol on Madison Avenue. I had just landed us a treasure, a rent-controlled two-bedroom apartment on 90th and Park, $200. This was New York, and I lived there. Never mind that I wasn't happily married. This was New York, and I could distract myself with lunch pals and martinis, cigarettes and flirting, marvelous theater, memorable restaurants, and weekends on Long Island at the in-laws who, never mind, weren't happily married. They had a beautiful Georgian house 2 blocks from the Powdery Beach, and a cook and driver who ferried us to and from Manhattan. And there was scotch to drown my discontent. And then a baby to be born, delicious distraction. And what? Chicago? He was taking a job in Chicago and I would not live in New York? What soul-shattering calamity was this? We became Chicagoans. And 5 days after baby Meredith was born, I wore the Celadon Kimberly knit home from Passavant Hospital. Cheers. It was an orange blossom at a freshman fraternity party. One small sip of gin and a pair of golden doors opened, and shy little me was suddenly a fearless and funnier me. Call it Oz. Advertising meant martinis and great goblets of Gallo red before blue cheeseburgers and Mike Rudy salad at Ricardo's. Do you remember that, Charlie? There was scotch at 6, vodka tonics on Sundays, and rivers of Muscadet and Puy Pissé before all your Cabernet and Chardonnay. After cooking Julia and James for days, there was no setting the dinner party table without cigarettes and ashtrays. We inhaled each other's fumes between courses and lingered over coffee and cognac with more cigarettes. Nobody said they'd kill us. Mornings after, there were sore throats and hangovers. You remember them, the good old days. Campers at Harrods. There is a department on the ground floor of that emporium. Hampers reads the sign Above a display of various styles of varying degrees of luxury. Possibly it is the very lack of a hamper that has hampered my life. A lovely tawny basket fitted with flatware and goblets, napkins and plates. A periwinkle cloth to spread in the shade of a grand tree in a sunny meadow of a summer afternoon. A hamper filled with a crusty loaf, Irish cheddar, a few pears, and there to share it, someone I'd been longing to see again. Or my own girls, perhaps. Yes, my girls again, 6 and 10 again. But not in a sunny meadow. It would be a sun setting 7 o'clock on those big rocks at the harbor. There would be sailboats. We would be laughing. And I could rerun the movie. Make fewer mistakes this time. And that very day, someone went and uninvented more. Metamorphosis, a photograph from the 60s, a party for her parents' 50th anniversary. Her shiny brown hair up in a French twist, wearing a nifty black and white Donald Brooks. She gave plenty at the fashion office. In the parlance of the day, she was a glamour girl. In this long-running series, the part that young woman played now features a vintage version in jeans and t-shirts. Her dark hair now light, a euphemism. Her ears, eyes, and back, a challenge. Her 2 small daughters recast as women, one of whom must be lying, says she's 50. See what happens when you blink? Left behind but not bereft. You've no idea what a technophobe I am, said my friend Pat, even as she in the next breath announced herself the new owner of an iPad 2. So it's official. Everyone's buying the next thing, and I am not. Mired in a sleepy other time, I limp along with my not very smart phone, aging MacBook, and vintage Kindle. I am not the one in a restaurant to look up the name of that actor in that movie we can't remember the title of. My phone will not take your picture or check the latest read this instant email. I cannot make a date with you unless I'm home with my elderly, fraying Filofax. You have the lot of you left me behind as you zoom into still another realm of thrilling, life-changing must-have stuff. How disturbing is this to what passes for my peace of mind? How quickly can I finish this poem and take a nap? Consider the college dropout. John D. Rockefeller, Howard Hughes, Ralph Lauren, Ted Turner, David Geffen, Larry Ellison, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. Schooling may be hazardous to your wealth. Then and now, how do they balance all those years of work with their varying levels of silent hysteria versus this inexorable tide of awareness? Imagine all that imagining that one knew, despite the profound inability to know that that unlined face had rather more to face. The calendar, once blithely brimming with giddy innocence, now packed with inked-in appointments for needles, knives, and death. Oh, Beyonce. Yes, the 150-carat diamond ring that your husband, Jay-Z, whoever he is, paid $70 million for is possibly the most gorgeous of all things gorgeous in the history of the planet. The Dazzler is, after all, 100% diamond. And what I'm wondering is, I bet it's really heavy. And did Jay-Z get a deal? Did he charge it or just write a check? And I wonder what a $10 million ring might look like on you, and what the leftover 60 might mean to people who don't look like you. Let's be Switzerland. Let's have the wealthy send us their money and we'll hide it for them. Let's make lace and watches and fine chocolate. I bet we could get the hang of cheese with holes in it, and knives for someone else's army so they could go out and kill people, and we could stay home and work on our yodeling. Leave nothing. Facing me as I hike the airport in Phoenix, a young man's black Nike backpack with white letters, leave nothing. A memo from the existential front. Perhaps I am to strip my closets, accelerate my de-accumulating, let go the debilitating fear that hangs on and on. Perhaps I am to leave nothing but a poem scribbled on the sand. Leaving. If Nora Ephron can leave us at 71, she's filling with energy, ideas, and talent, humor, and charm, a passionate cook with 10 different jams in her fridge. It isn't unthinkable that I, endowed with less, i.e. one lone jar of marmalade, could be rudely called away sooner than later. All those indelible names, Jackie, Diana, Audrey, Grace, my own Irma, Barbara, and life is a party, Nina, not this Nina, none reaching 80. True, there is still Carlin at 98, and Ursula running the poetry group and volunteering at 101, their brains intact. But the march is unforgiving, unrelenting, unwilling or able to slow its pace. Best get on with it. There isn't a second to squander. Went missing. Google informed me that the term went missing is British. Wikipedia and I find it insufferable. True, I want to learn that so-and-so who was missing is now happily found. What I wish, though, is that went missing, and took with it, washed it down. Is there not a writer who can otherwise describe the act of imbibing other than leaning on that infelicitous phrase? Does not wash it down smack of ridding a car of its grit or a sink of its grime? Could they not perhaps say drank, sipped, or simply enjoyed that glass of Merlot? If only washed it down went missing. Call me Quixote. I bought an iPad on Tuesday. I returned the iPad on Wednesday. Call me a crabby Luddite, tilting at the windmill of too much. When is enough enough? Enough military and murder, incivility, inhumanity, greed, and hate. Enough massacre and flags at half-mast. When is the coming of kindness? Are there any vegetarians in the house? I remember steak. Even as I recall white gloves and a taupe suede cloche just to go to the office, so too do I remember beef. It's been many moons since the ribeye and lyonnaise potatoes on summer weekends in Long Beach. Rare filet and chocolate souffle at Cafe Nicholson. Strip steak and Roquefort salad at Priscilla. It's been forever since steak au poivre at Danny's Hideaway. And martinis on Madison Avenue with cheeseburgers. There, too, in the misty distance, standing rib roast, Yorkshire pudding, and poker at Valerie and Bill's. San Francisco at David's with filet and Cabernet. All those Sundays in the country with friends, Marty tending marinated flank steak on the grill. A memorable movie. I, the drinking, laughing, smoking ingenue, oblivious to the film's hurtling toward the sober night, the wizard's curtain drew back to reveal not a sizzling steak, but dead cow. When did it happen? Was there a particular day when I turned a blustery corner and people I knew started dying? If not a certain day, it must have been an insidious creep, an irreversible tide that turned suddenly. It felt like suddenly. There were phone calls. I have sad news. You won't believe it. And there it was. This menace that is unpacked is not leaving without us. Death has always and ever been the natural ending of life. We know that. We've seen movies. We've read books. But when did the Reaper take up residence on our street? Irwin, now gone, wrote, "Death used to be philosophical. Now it's personal." Was there a class I missed in how to do this? Ann Beatty wrote, "What will happen can't be stopped. Aim for grace." I have two last pieces. This is a memo to my late husband. It's been 20 years now, and if you're thinking of returning, you will need some new eyes. An iPhone to make calls, check email and look stuff up. An iPod to listen to Motown, Mozart, and Moby Dickens. An iPad to access Google, a phone book, dictionary, library, cosmic know-it-all. Start with Zuckerberg, Koch brothers, and Herman Cain. Check out Bailout, Drones and Drought. Move on to global warming, global warring, and legitimate rape. Look up Midnight in Paris, Book of Mormon, Myth of Mormon, 50 Shades of Trash, and Voter Suppression. You'll need to know that hybrid is not just for rose growers. Stream, now a verb, is how you see a movie. Kindle, now a noun, is how you read a book. Occupy is, well, complicated. Tweet, no longer just for the birds, is how some choose to vent, and vent still means to blow hot air. Apples and blackberries are not what you eat, they eat you. The Cubs are still doomed if they do, which they don't. Your luggage now has wheels, although travel is now a travail of drama and trauma in airports where you will shed your shoes and be searched, and I won't be greeting you at the gate. Home office now means a home office. On the street, try not to stare at open-air breasts, long, flowy dresses that look like nightgowns, and bra straps. The young among us are busy bicycling and recycling, while most of our crowd are immersed in managing the issues, the increasingly insidious issues of inexorable human frailty. They're picking up speed, and there's never a cop when you need one. I will close with my homage to Casablanca. Ilsa, having boarded the plane with Victor, realizes that she cannot live without Rick. She pulls out her pistol and demands that the pilot turn back. Captain Renault finds another friend, and I live happily ever after. In this version, however, the film is a flop. because its ineffable voodoo, the essence of its longevity, apart from those deathless lines, lies in leaving us, you, me, Rick, with a broken heart. Thank you.
A CD, not a ton of them, so you may want to grab. One of the first of them was Lucia's Passing for Normal. The second is Navigating the Night, and out in 2011, we called it The Country. And if you want this, it's called Sounds Like Lucia. So give her one more